In this video, we are going to talk about the section 12.1 sequence and series notes. So let's first talk about what it means to be a sequence. We'll zoom in a little more. So a sequence is a list of numbers written in a specific order. More formally, a sequence is a function whose domain is the set of whole numbers. The terms of the sequence are usually written as A1, A2, A3, all the way to AN instead of f of 1, f of 2, f of 3, so on and so forth. We use the term A1 to signify the first term, A2 to signify the second term, and then again AN, that's the nth term. First, we're going to talk about something called a recursive formula. So a recursive formula for a sequence specifies that our nth term is a function of the preceding term, preceding meaning the one that comes before, at least the first term must be provided in the formula. So if we look at number 1 here, it says A1 is 5, and then it gives us the recursive formula of that AN plus 1 is equal to AN plus 3. So essentially I'm going to take this 5 and I'm going to plug it into this formula. So my first term is 5, then I'm going to do 5 plus 3, then I'm going to get 8. Then I'm going to put 8 in the formula. 8 plus 3 is 11. Then I'm going to put 11 in the formula, 14, 17. So those would be the first 5 terms. Now let's say I want to find the 10th term. I would need to keep going. So after 17, I would get 20, then 23, then 26, then 29, then 32. So my 10th term would be 32. Similarly, in number 2, my first term is 10. I'm going to get my second term. I'm going to plug 10 into my formula. And so I'm going to have 3 times 6, which would be 18. Then to get my next term, I'm going to plug 18 into my formula. So I end up with 3 times 14, which is 42. Then I'm going to plug 42 into my formula. Then I end up with 114. Then I'm going to plug 114 into my formula. And I end up with 330. So when we're using the recursive formula, we have to have the term that came before, otherwise we can't use it. This is where the explicit formula is a little bit more helpful because it helps us find any term in the sequence and we don't have to find them in order. We can just skip right to that term. So in this example, it wants us to find the first 5 terms. So I'm going to plug in 1 for n as the first term, 2 for n, then 3 for n, then 4 for n, then 5 for n. So if I plug in 1 for n, I get 5. If I plug in 2 for n, I get 8. If I plug in 3 for n, I get 11. If I plug in 4 for n, I get 14. And if I plug in 5 for n, I get 17. So then if I wanted to find the 10th term, I would plug in 10 for n, and I would get 32. So the recursive formula is a little bit more helpful, the explicit formula is a little bit more helpful because we can find any term and we don't need to necessarily find them in order. So let's practice a little bit. So in this case, they gave me a explicit formula and they want me to find the first 5 terms. So to find A1, I would plug in 1. So I get A1 is 2. To get A2, I would plug in 2. Now we get that A1 is 5. To get the third term, I'd plug in 3, and I would get 10. To get the fourth term, I'd plug in 4, and I would get 17. And to get the fifth term, I'd plug in 5, and I would get 26. So 2, 5, 10, 17, 26 would be my first 5 terms. All right, similarly, we're going to do the same thing here. So A1 would equal -1 to the first, and then 1 over 1 plus 1. So this would be -1 times 1/2, so it'd be -1/2. A2 is negative 1 squared, 2 over 2 plus 1. So it's positive 1 times 2/3, so it'd be 2/3. A3, so we have negative 1 times 3/4, so it'd be negative 3/4. And 4/5. And then A5. So my sequence would be negative 1/2, 2/3, negative 3/4, 4/5, and negative 5/6. All right, now we're going to do it again for this guy. So A1 is going to equal 2 to the first over 1 factorial. So we can find the factorials in our calculator, but what a factorial is it's all the numbers multiplied to get to that number. So it'd be n times, so let me do an example of 5 actually. So let's say I had 5 factorial. That would be 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So 1 factorial is just 1. So I'm going to have 2 over 1, which would be 2. A2 would be 2 squared over 2 factorial. Well, 2 squared is 4. 2 factorial would be 2 times 1, so it would be 2. A3 would be 2 to the third power over 3 factorial, so that'd be 8 over 3 times 2 times 1, which would be 6, which will reduce to 4/3. A4 is 2 to the 4th over 4 factorial, so that's 16 over 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So that's 24, which will reduce to 2/3. A5 is 2 to the 5th over 5 factorial, so that'd be 32 over 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 would be 20 times 6, which would be 120, which this will reduce to 4/15. So this sequence would be 2, 2, 4/3, 2/3, 4/15. All right, now we're going to go the other way. Now we're going to write a formula for the sequence. So these are all going to start off being a of n, keeping in mind like our first term is number 1, second term is number 2. So we got to keep those in mind because we're going to use n as our input. So I see in my denominator that I'm multiplying by 3. So if I do 3n, that will satisfy my denominator. In the top, I have 5, then 6, then 7. So it's going up by 1. So if I start at 4 and I add n, 1 plus 4 is 5, 2 plus 4 is 6, 3 plus 4 is 7. So this is my formula that would represent number 7. 7a. In B, I can see that there's going to really be 2 parts of this formula. One is going to be how I go from 1 to 8 to 27 to 64. The other part is that they're alternating positive, negative, positive, negative. So when we are alternating positive, negative, it's 2 scenarios. It's either negative 1 to the n plus 1 or negative 1 to the n. Now in this case, if you want to start with a positive and n is equal to 1, we're going to use this first one because 1 plus 1 would be negative 1 squared, so it's going to give me a positive. So the first part of my equation is going to be this negative 1 to the n plus 1. Now if I look at 1, 8, 27, 64, 25, and I know this is my second term, my third term, my fourth term, my fifth term. Well, if I think about it, 2 cubed is 8, 3 cubed is 27, 4 cubed is 64. So it's going to be n cubed, because that would give me 1, 8, 27, 64, 125. And then the negative 1 to the n plus 1 is going to make it alternate positive or negative. All right, here I'm multiplying by 3, So that'd be 3 to the n power. The problem is that my first term is not 3, so I'm going to go backwards a term. Because if I plug in 1, I get 3 to the 0 power, which would equal 1. If I plug in 2, I would get 3 to the first, which is 3. If I plug in 3, I would get 3 to the second, which is 9. And so this would be my equation for C. All right, in this one, I'm starting with 1, and then I go to 10, and then I go to 100. So I'm multiplying again by 10. So I'm going to have 10 to some power, but I'm going to have a log of that. But again, I'm not starting with 10, so I have to go backwards to get the 1. So log of 10 to the 0 power would give me 1. Log to the first power would give me log 10. So this is my formula for D. All right, the last thing we're going to talk about today is that if we take the sum of all terms, we call this a series. So when we're talking about sequences and series, sequence is the list of terms, series is the sum of the sequence. And so a lot of times when we see a sigma notation, it's our summation notation. And so when we see the sigma notation, we know we should be adding all our terms together. So we have a lower limit, which is pretty much where we start. We have an upper limit, which is where we're going to end. So let's use a summation. So it says in 8, find the 10th partial sum of an equals 2 plus 3n. And that would compute to the sum of 10 equals that summation notation. So I'm just going to use this formula, and I'm going to find all my terms. So A1 would be 5, A2 would be 8, A3 would be 11, A4 would be 14, A5 would be 17, A6 would be 18, A7 would be 23, A8 would be 26, A9 would be 29, and A10 would be 32. So I'm going to add all those together. So 5 plus 8 plus 11 plus 14 plus 17 plus this should have been 20 plus 20 plus 23 plus 26 plus 29 plus 32. And it's going to add to 185. Oh, now that's kind of a pain to do, especially if we want to sum something with more than 10 terms. Now, if you go to Math 0 on your calculator, you can type in the summation notation yourself, and I can show you how to do this if you're watching this video. So come ask me in class. All right, now we're going to evaluate this guy without a calculator, kind of like we did the one above. So, but notice I'm starting at 0, so I need to find A of 0 first, which means I plug 0 in for K here. So it'll be negative 1 to the 0 power, and then 0 squared plus 1. So it's just going to be 1. Then I got to find A1, which will be negative 2. Then I got to find A3, which will be negative 10. Then I need to find, I meant to find A2, sorry, A2, then A3. We're just going to add them. So I'm going to get 5, and then A4 is 17. So then I'm going to add 1 plus negative 2 plus 5 plus negative 10 plus 17, and that would sum to 11. All right, now we're going to work backwards. Now we're going to write these in summation notation. So it's kind of like the ones where we wrote the equation, but now I need to put the sigma. I'm starting at n is 1, and I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, going to 8. All right, so what I can see is my 1 on top is going to stay constant. So I'm going to write that as 1. And I can see on the bottom I'm multiplying by 2. So anytime I'm multiplying by 2, that's going to be 2 to the n power. But again, I'm not starting with 1/2, so I'm going to have to do 2 to the n minus 1. Or another way you could think about it is rather than starting at 1, you could say your first term is 0. So it goes 0 to 7. And then we could write it as 1 over 2 to the n, because 2 to the 0 power would give you 1. So that's another way to write it. Or we know that 1 is not really affected by a power, so we could say this is the 1/2 to the n minus 1 power altogether. So we could really write it any of those 3 ways. In B, I can see that my first term is 5, but I don't really know what this is my nth term. So I got to kind of figure out what that is. So if I see I'm doing times or add 5, add 5, add 5, so that means I think my formula would be just 5n. So let's check that. So 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 is 15, 5 times 4 is 20. All right, so I'm starting with the first term, and then how I would get the 100th term would mean that my 100th, or sorry, how I get 100 is that means my last term that they listed here was 20. So that's how I'd write the summation for B.